What if you already have everything you need to communicate with spirit? You just haven't realized it yet. Mediumship isn't something you're born with or you're not. It's an innate ability that can be developed. There are 5 specific practices that can take you from being spiritually curious to actually becoming a psychic medium. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what they are and how to start using them.
Me?
Morticia?
Orlando, is that you?
Morticia, where you at? I can't hardly see.
In front of you, I'm right here.
Damn, baby, what you do to your hair?
Yeah, that's not really how mediumship works. Here's what it looks like for most mediums. Suddenly, the image of a beach ball dropped into my mind. It was entirely plain looking. It was sitting alone on a sandy beach. I just took a deep breath as I studied this beach ball. Then I said to my sitter, "Your mom is showing me a beach ball right now." I smiled as I continued to hold this image in my mind. My sitter was silent, but a smile spread over her face. Next, I heard the word vacation. It came in quickly, and it was accompanied by this overwhelming feeling of deep gratitude. The next word I heard was what so clearly pulled this string of thoughts together so beautifully that the spirit was sending me: Philippines. I was sensing it all at once now, and the meaning just poured into my mind in what felt like a flash. I looked at my sitter. "Are you taking them to her home country, the Philippines?"
Wait, are you taking them to her home country? Are you going to the Philippines?
Yeah.
I can hear her saying that.
And my sitter began to wipe tears from her eyes. The feeling was so strong, I spoke in first person, thanking her.
Thank you for taking them.
My sitter wept as she nodded and smiled, a deeper understanding coming over her about her mother and their relationship.
I knew there was something else. It's like huge thanks to you. You know, I judged you because I thought that you didn't value those things, those parts of yourself. But I know that you do. And you're taking them back. Thank you. She is over the moon about that.
Today, I'm breaking down the 5 most important aspects of developing your mediumship. I call them the 5 C's. And whether you are brand new to this work or you've been developing for a while but you feel like something is missing, these 5 things are the foundation of how to become a psychic medium. The first C is clear channel. A medium who is working at their best is merely an empty vessel through which spirits speak. If you've ever practiced meditation, you may already have an understanding of clearing your mind and being able to feel that stillness that is required. When a medium receives information from a spirit, a common question to ask, especially at the beginning of development, is, am I making this up? Or is this information coming from a spirit? A thought from a spirit, or a spiritual impression, as we call it, will likely feel as if it's just dropped into your head. It won't usually feel like it's just the next logical thought for your brain. It also doesn't tend to be connected to your most recent thoughts or experiences. When it's super obvious that it's from a spirit, you'll say, "I know that thought was nowhere in my head a moment ago." But being a clear channel isn't just about being able to clear your mind. It's also about cleaning up your emotional and your mental baggage and developing yourself. Spirit works off of our frame of reference. That means that our memories and our experiences are of great use to them. And the more emotional baggage that we carry around that colors our life experience, the more likely that the message we share or the way we interpret the evidence that we've received may be biased. For some of us, being a clear channel could also be affected by the foods that we eat, the things we drink, and our overall environment. The best place to start? Learn what levers you can pull to help you become the clearest channel possible. The second C is communication and the clairs. Because in order to communicate with spirit, we have to learn their language.
Who are you?
Julio?
You can hear me?
Don't you hear him?
Hey, you.
Julio?
Hey, you. My name is Sam Wheat. Listen, hey, can you hear me? Sam Wheat. Say my name. Sam Wheat. Say it.
Talk to me, Otomate. Say something. Sam Wheat!
I love it. This scene where Oda Brown hears Sam is a little more what it's like to receive spirit communication, but clairaudiently, because she's hearing Sam's voice in her mind. And when you're first coming into your skills, you might be really shocked when you start hearing the voice of a spirit in your head. But clairaudience is just one of the clairs that we can use to speak to a spirit. Here are the 6 main clairs I teach my students. Clairvoyance, seeing images or visions in your mind. Clairaudience, hearing words, voices, or sounds internally. Clairsentience, feeling emotions or physical sensations. Claircognizance, just knowing something without knowing how. Clairalience, receiving impressions through smell in your mind. Clairgustance, receiving impressions through taste in your mind. Mediumship is the practice of being able to speak to spirit so that you can relay powerful messages to those still living to help them move forward in life. Most mediums work subjectively. That means that spirit communicates with them through thought. The best way to describe this is that it feels very similar to paying attention to a daydream. When a spirit sends a thought to you and it drops into your mind, we call this a spiritual impression. This thought can come via any one of those clairsenses or through a combination of them. As you're just beginning in mediumship, you may experience a spiritual impression via only one clairsense at a time. But as you progress, you'll use your clairsenses more often in conjunction with each other. One of the things that most people don't realize is that mediums have to act as interpreters when we speak to spirits. They deliver us single thoughts, one at a time, but we still have to lean into the meaning behind whatever we might be seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing, smelling, or even tasting with our clairsenses. What I practice myself and what I encourage my students to do is to lean into the impressions and really experience them via these clairsenses, giving the impression time to unfold. Spirit sends one impression after another. You may hear a sound, see an image, or feel a sensation in your body to start, but it may not be until that next impression from spirit that you come to understand the meaning behind what you heard, saw, or felt. We must be patient as mediums and stay with the trail of impressions so that we don't jump to interpret or start making assumptions too quickly. It is so important never to make assumptions during a reading. Your mind could get turned on if you're panicked, and you might jump into thinking mode about the meaning behind what you're sensing. If I hadn't taken the time to study the beach ball, hold that impression in my mind without making assumptions, I so easily could have gone down the wrong path and missed the crucial message that was coming through for my sitter. Spirit already knows how to communicate moving evidence and messages, and often wants to deliver deeper meaning, understanding, or even an explanation to the sitter that they feel will bring them joy, peace, or the lifting of a burden. I know some of you are watching this and you're thinking, but how do I know that I'm not just making it up? That question is the 3rd C, and it might be one of the most important ones. The 3rd C is confidence, and I don't just find it to be helpful in mediumship, I find it to be an absolute must. I will never forget the first time that I sat in a mediumship practice circle. I felt like I was a moment away from shitting my pants for the entire 90 minutes of class. Then, when it was my turn, I started sharing what I was getting, which felt like the most subtle hints of some bullshit story from my imagination. I remember looking around and thinking, what am I doing? This is crazy. It takes time and experience to understand how you work as a medium. Only after you've spoken to spirit a number of times will you start to become used to the subtleness of impressions and the way you tend to receive information. One of the largest tasks for any medium is to develop a deep level of trust in both themselves as a conduit and in spirit. The subtlety of spiritual impressions can lead us to doubt our mediumship. This in turn weakens our connection to spirit during a reading and fast.
Give me a penny, quick.
What?
Push a penny under the door now.
You be talking about push a penny under the door.
Just do it. Tell her it's for luck.
Sam says it's for luck.
Unfortunately, spirit won't likely provide proof with a penny during your readings. The validation has to come from your sitter. And even they might not recognize a legit message from spirit for them for a number of reasons. That's why I use this tool with every student I teach to help them develop their confidence. It's called resonance and dissonance. Close your eyes right now and say something in your mind to yourself that is an absolute truth. For example, I could close my eyes and say, I'm married to Rob and we live in Colorado. These facts are indisputable. And when I say them to myself in my mind, I get that feeling of resonance in my body. Next, say something in your mind that is not true. I love eating live cockroaches while they're wiggling around in my mouth. Feel the difference? Yeah, that's dissonance. Get used to these slight, subtle feelings of resonance and dissonance to help you feel more confident, not just in mediumship, but in life, when it comes to clearly sensing your own inner knowing. I promise you, it'll work wonders for your confidence. The fourth C is community. Developing your mediumship can be a really lonely road at times. While some of us are lucky enough to have friends or family who are open and supportive, other people are entirely alone on their journey. They may even feel that pursuing their mediumship could threaten some of their most important relationships. Having a community can also be an incredible aspect of helping you develop your craft. In classes of mine, my students constantly share stories, wanting to know, has anyone else had a similar experience? I can see how comforted they are to know that they're not alone. Other times, I see students feeling massively liberated to know that each medium works differently. This gives them the freedom and the joy to explore their own natural path of development and to let go of comparison or just trying to work like somebody else. Another major advantage of developing with friends and a community is having plenty of people to practice with in a safe and encouraging environment. And here's something you really need to know. You cannot become a medium all on your own. Learning to become a medium without a sitter is like learning to swim out of water. It simply doesn't work. Every time you sit with a real person and you receive feedback. That's how you learn to tell the difference between what's spirit's and what's yours. That is a huge part of how your confidence grows. That's how you stop asking, am I making this up? Because you'll have real evidence stacking up that you're not. This is also why having a mentor matters so much. A good mentor has been where you are. They can see what you can't see in yourself yet, help you course correct, and reflect back what's actually working. Find your people, find a mentor, find a safe place to practice. It will change your development in ways I promise you cannot anticipate. The fifth and final C is command of craft. And this is about how you go about your mediumship development. One part of Command of Craft focuses on regularly using your skills by giving readings consistently, and ideally on a weekly basis. When I began my mediumship journey, I decided that I would give 100 free readings. It was one of the best decisions I made because inevitably, it allowed me to experience many different sitters and different spirits, and it helped me to learn the language of spirit. Command of Craft is also about strategic and organized learning, honing in on just one or two areas of improvement within your mediumship over a period of time. To do this, I use my what plus 3 hows method. You choose one area of improvement as your what. Then you decide your 3 hows. How you'll improve that skill, how often, and for how long. For example, if I wanted to improve my ability to identify the cause of passing for a spirit, my what would be that. My first how would be to study 3 new causes of passing each week and create a clear symbol for each. My second how, I'll do that process each week. My third how, I'll do this for the next 3 months. Just think about how often you encounter a mediumship practice circle where you simply come in each week doing the same thing without it feeling organized in a strategic way so that your skills are building upon each other. A combination of continuous practice using your skills plus focused, targeted steps toward improving your abilities can help you progress more efficiently. So those are your 5 C's. Clear channel, communication in the clears, confidence, community, and command of craft. That beach ball reading didn't just bring through evidence. It brought through something that this woman had needed to hear her whole life. A deeper understanding of her mother and their relationship that she had never had before. Her mother's fear, her mother's grief, and finally, her mother's pride. After the reading, my sitter wrote in her feedback, "Sitting with Mel is so worth it. It's like hearing things you didn't know your soul and heart needed to hear." That is what developed mediumship looks like, and it starts with the 5 C's. Before you stop this video, choose one action to take from each of the 5 C's. Just one action per C. That's your starting roadmap. And if you want support actually walking that path, I'd love to have you in my mediumship development circle. The link is in the description below. If this video resonated with you, please share it with someone who is beginning this journey. And I want to know, which of the 5 C's do you most need to work on right now? Drop it in the comments.